Welcome. Welcome to today's stream, day 23, turning an agency into a AI native company within 90 days. If you're on this stream or you stay to the end, what you're about to learn is how to turn a agency, whether it be a growth agency, SMM agency, ads agency, any form of agency, into an AI native company. What if I told you over the next 90 days, you could completely redesign your agency, not by hiring more people, not by working long hours, but by building a workforce of AI employees that run alongside your business? Think about that for a moment. Most agencies today have the same problem. More clients, more staff means more managers, means more meetings, more overheads, more mistakes, more complexity, and ultimately lower profits. For years, we've been taught the only way to grow your agency is to build a bigger. We hear it from Iman Gatsi, all the top experts, right? Search all the top experts in that industry. And I believe that model is about to change forever. Over the next decade, agencies that dominate won't necessarily be the ones with the biggest offices or the largest employees. There will be ones with the smartest operating systems. They will be AI native agencies. Let me repeat that again. There will be AI native agencies where digital employees handle the repetitive tasks and the execution, while human beings focus on energy, strategy, leadership, and building relationships. Or even we're moving towards, right, one person agencies, right? One person agencies, even one or two, right? We have the capacity to still work with tons of clients. How is this possible? And this is exactly what we're going to talk about on today's stream. So by the end of this session, you will understand the complete roadmap for transforming a traditional agency into a AI native agency within 90 days. Now, not by adding ChatGPT to your workflow, NAN, Claude, Cowork, Gemini, Google, not by installing another AI tool, right? Today, you're going to see a different building process. And by fundamentally redesigning, right, how agencies operate from the ground up. We will show you how to build a business playbook that becomes the brain of the company, how to document every process into a repeated operating system, and how to create specialist AI employees for sales, marketing, operations, customer support, customer success, fulfillment, and an ongoing chief operating officer that coordinates the entire digital workforce every single day and answers to yourself. Imagine waking up, right, to this new reality. This is what the day and age that we are actually living in, right? It's unbelievable time. So this is what we're gonna cover on this stream. Bear with me. Let me just set up everything. This is what literally we're gonna cover on this stream, right? How to build an AI native company. Literally. Let me just organize this stuff. One second. So we are living in a brand new time, right? A brand new time, a brand new day where we're making it possible, right? So let me show you what we're about to commence. Let me just share my screen. So welcome to our platform, right? What we're about to attempt to build, right? Turning an AI agency. I'll use an example here of a agency called Blue AI Growth Agency into a native company, right? Now, this is here in our board. Let me just get this board up, right? This is a model of a traditional agency, what we have here, right? This is what we have as an agency. If you run an agency or any other business, this is just a replica of what can be possible building an AI native company, right? We have a chief officer. We have obviously a director, but you're the chief CEO. Then we have a COO, Chief Operating Officer, who operates front end and back end, right? Then you might have a virtual assistant, a VA, right? Or appointment setter. Then you've got a media buyer. You have a setter, right? You have a closer, right? These might be hybrid. Then you have an account manager, a successful account manager. Then you have a creative strategist, what will work on all the creative campaigns, right? Running ads, etc. Like you know it, right? Then we have head of probably retention, right? Then we have then we have human aspects of the maintenance, the SOPs, right? And then we might have some like what you use now, go high level, right? And some automations in that regards, right? But now we're going to flip the switch, right? And occasionally you might use Claude, ChatGPT, right? Co-work. But now this is a whole new system that we are developing to turn an ordinary agency, be it a growth agency, a SMS agency, a AI agency, right, into a AI native company, right? Which is a complete big difference, significantly big difference, right? Let me just get this up. So today I'm going to show you, right, the difference of when we say AI native. And an AI native company is one which the intricate of the system is built by AI. So this is the first thing that we'll do, right? Oh man, let me just get my. Sometimes this is an agent that we created, so sometimes it just bugs out. So bear with me. Let me get it up again. So, like I said, this is a traditional agency model. But the first things we're going to do, right, on this traditional agency model, we're going to start on phase one, right? Phase one, right? We're going to build a business playbook, right? And what does the business playbook consist of, right? The business playbook consists of building the brain of the company, right? That's where we install the company overview, the mission, the vision, the services, the offers, the pricing, the ICP, the customer persona, right? The sales process, the strategy, frequently asked questions, and everything else that it needs, right? This is the brain of the company. I'm going to show you, right? We built our AI platform, native platform, what empowers companies to do that. So I'm going to show you what that actually looks like, right? Let me go into it. I'm going to show you what actually that looks like. So let me just go into our playbook. Here our agents are working, right? But let me go into our business playbook, right? So this is our business playbook. This is what it looks like. So now I'm just going to go into, let me just add agency, right? Add agency. I'm going to go into this template, right? And this is the ad agency template, right? So this is the business playbook, what it looks like. Literally, right? When we're working with agencies, this is what we do, right? If we don't have a custom, I go to custom, right? We answer a few questions, then it pre-populates this area, right? This whole playbook and brain, and then we go deep dive. But here, this is an example, right, of an AI offer agency, right? AI automation lead gen agency, right? It's core services, its mission, its revenue, right? Its current stage, right? Its ICP, the demographic, psychographic pain points, the goals, right? The buying triggers, the objections, where the customers hands out, the sales process, right? Booking process, core discovery, right? This is the funnel stage, awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, close, sell. We're documenting the brain, right? Then the ads, right? The ads, what the winning hooks, headlines, creatives, platform angles, then objections. Then we have the SOPs and the operations, right, which we can upload all the documents like there for the organ for your SMS agency, whatever it is, what tools they use, etc. Then we have the knowledge bank, right? We upload all the documents of the knowledge bank, the SOPs, right? And that becomes the business brain. Then we just go to press save, right? And now we have we have now incorporated the brain, right, of the company into like the platform, right? This AI native platform which we have developed. So let's go back, right? That's stage one, right? So let me go to stage. This is stage one, right? Building the company brain. And all that can be done, right? Literally in under like 45 minutes to an hour if you already have all the information for your company, right? If you're an SMS agency, growth agency, or any form of agency. Stage two, right? Then we move on to stage two, right? We document everything. Like I said, the SOPs, if we don't have this, we then start documenting, right? We extracting the information, right? The SOPs, client onboarding process, Facebook ad process, the reporting of the SOPs, your proposals, context, contracts, anything. We're documenting that because we need that information, right? To upload it, right, into our SOPs and also into our knowledge bank, right? We're building the brain, right? This is the brain of the company, right? So let's go back now to now. Once we've done that, we move over to stage three, right? Stage three now, we look at creating the digital employees, right? The digital agents, right? So, for example, for a marketing company, we'll focus on media buyer, a creative strategist, a copywriter, a content agent, a video agent, if need be, right? In sales, right? We work with an AI lead researcher, a setter, and a proposal agent, a follow-up agent, right? In customer success, we have a CRS agent, a support agent, a review manager, right? In operations, we have a project manager, operation manager, maybe a document agent, right? In finance, we have a finance assistant, an AI invoice agent, a KPIs agent, right? In administration, we have research, scheduling, and executive assistants, right? So this is now we develop the agents that will work within that new company, right? And for every single agent, this is what we do. We do a job description, the responsibility, the knowledge, the missions, the SOPs, the key performance indicators, the guardrails, the escalation rules, right? Exactly as if we would do it for a human being. So let me jump into the platform and show you some examples, right? So let's go to our some agents we've already pre-built because we use these, right, ourselves. So let me just go and show you some examples, right? Let me go into this is our weekly scorecard agent, right? Let me run. This is our weekly scorecard agent. I'm just going to pick a few agents that what we said in different areas, right? Let me go here. Our weekly scorecard agent, right? And literally, right, this is what that like I said, the brief for the weekly score agent, how to use it, what it does, it rolls, but also it's got a reporting dashboard. So let me open up this specific agent, right? And I'm going to pre-populate the fields because every week this actually happens, right? Agents can now, once you plug in your data, it can work out things. So now I'm going to pre-populate that. I'm going to build a dashboard to get the weekly report, right? So now, while it's crunching those numbers, let me also open up another agent, right? It's crunching those numbers, right? I'm going to go to now. I'm going to look for another agent, right? So the goal is to develop these agents, right? So let's just go to if we don't already have them in stock, we develop them. So let me go to change. Let me go to another agent. Here's a SOPs architect agent, right? This is a SOPs architect if we're gathering information, right? Let me just go to another agent. I was looking for something specific. All these agents are specific, right? We've got our onboarding agent, right? We normally pre-populate this information, right? let me see what actually happens here, right? And normally we can generate the onboarding, right? Yeah, I'm saying we can even go into go high level. We have an agent who goes and sets up the onboarding process, the triggers, etc., and whatnot, right? So while it's doing that, let me just check back with our other agent. Let's go back here. Where's the other agent, right? Our other agent. So this was a scorecard agent, right? Our wiki scorecard. So now we see we have the week score summary, right? We have the pipeline, we see the bottlenecks, right? We have now a summary of leads gen, revenue, operations, sales, pipeline, marketing, right? A founder report. Now we have the matrix of what's actually happening in the agency, right? We just plug it in just like that. Now we have the sales pipeline. We can see what's actually happening. And this is pulling data from Go High Level to CRM. I'm going to show it. Also, we have marketing. It pulls data, right? Also, we have the bottlenecks, what actually happens. This is an agent, right? Normally, you would have meetings with your staff, etc., like hour, 2 hours to prepare all this data. Literally, you saw it done in 5 minutes, right? Then we have, now we can see every week what the bottlenecks are in the business, the key wins, right? The action plan, what needs to be done, right? And that's why I said people sometimes ask me, Claude, ChatGPT, co-work. So that when you're using those tools, you're patching your business, right? You're just using it as an accessory. This is what we call an AI native company because it's in the lifeblood, in the roots, the stem of it's the from built in the ground up of the agency, right? We got all this. We got the action plan, what we need to do every single week. Imagine you're doing this every single week. We've got the full report, what's actually happening, right? And then how we get this data, we're connecting Facebook, Go High Level, Stripe, all the data points for this scorecard agent to figure things out, right? So let me just go back now. This was the onboarding agent, but let me just go. I want to show you another form of agent, right? So we've got these agents to go. Agents that we don't, we just create them, right? We've got agent creator, what creates the agent based on the business, right? Normally we work in specific niches, so we always have those relevant agencies. There's agents ready to go. But let me just go to the foyer. I'm just gonna go to. I'm gonna go to the YouTube agent. If we're promoting content on YouTube, right? Let me look for this agent. Let me just look. Yeah, the YouTube channel planner, right? You might be working with your team or getting stuff. This is our agents that when it comes to traffic, right? No, I'm just gonna go. I'm in a different account. Oh, so I'm in a different account, but I just want to go. Let me switch to this account because we've got data in this account. So let me just do that again. All right, let me just go to run. Right, I'm showing you how we build an agency, how we turn an agency into an AI native company, right? We're creating all these agents. We've got a media buyer agent, right? Yeah, let me look into this YouTube planner. This is for long form content. These are all different agents. So this is the example, right? For the agency, if they're running stuff for a client, they can plan their client stuff, right? They've got the ideas. They can come here, right? They can put their clients' ideas, or there's the top 10 like competitors here, and we pull the top 10 competitors. We find the trends, right? It's another agent what does this, right? And then we can see what's working. Then we can come back here and now we can go to the scripts agent to write scripts, right? We choose what script we want, whether it's topic based scripts, right? And then in a short period of time, it will generate a script based on a given topic. But here, let's go to some scripts already done so you can see, right? So let me just go to 5 high income skills, right? So now we've got a script. We can give this to a client. We can implement for the agency. If the agency owner is trying to brand, we got scripts to brand, right? Build personal branding. So we've got a script. Here's the raw script, right? We can make adjustments. We've got hook variations, the open and promise, the retention hooks, right? We can have expansion series. If this content blows up, Now we can expand. We just press this one button, right? It generates another script, right? What you can shoot, right? Then also we've got a B-roll agent. You can come here, open up the B-roll agent if we want B-roll, right? We place the script in, it can generate B-roll, right? You see what I'm saying? So this is another agent, right? What we can use, right? All for the agency, right? The agency has disposed is now, right? Not one time you're gonna see me leave, right? This platform and go to ChatGPT, right? Or go to Claude or go to co-work. It's not necessary. That's why I say this is what we call AI native company, building it from the ground up, right? So let me go back, right? So also, let me just go, let me see this. Let me go to run. Actually, let me go to employee agent, see if it's here. So create new employee agent, right? We just come here, right? And now we just type the description of the agent, right? We can build it, right? Any agent that we can work, right? We can build the agent if we don't have the agent in our portfolio, right? So let's go back, right? So remember, right? Like I said, right? We had all these different agents, and just like in departments in an agency, you have all those different departments. Like I said, for every AI employee, you've got a job description. You're building it like you're employing someone, right? The KIPs, the permissions, the guardrails, right? And they act like a human, right? So this is what we call AI native, right? So let's go to stage. Now we build mission control, right? So now we've got the playbook, we've got all the SOPs, we've got the bank knowledge. Now we built the agents, right? Now we built mission control. And mission control is how the agents work together, right? We create tasks, missions for the agents to go on missions, 3 or 4, 5 to work together, like I just showed you. So now I'm just gonna go, right? Mission control is work where the work's created, right? I'm gonna go here, right? And let me just go to stage 4, right? Let me go into the dashboard. I'm going to go to missions, right? This is what we call the mission control dashboard. If I want now, we've got the business brain, right, in here. Now we can understand, the agents can understand what missions need to be created, right? So if I go here, I go to mission control, I can even ask, right, what missions need to be created today, right? Based on what we put, right, in the business playbook, it's going to come back and tell us, right? So there's loads of ways how we can use mission control, right? It's going to analyze the business playbook. It's going to analyze, right? Remember, right, if we got a roster of agents in sales, marketing, customer support, fulfillment, right? All these agents are working together in cohesive. We just done an ad campaign. Say, for example, the agency generated more leads off Facebook, right? As soon as the leads come in Facebook, we've got agent what automatically calls the lead within 30 seconds, right? And then we've got another agent what analyzes the lead, right? Listens to the sell code. And so every step of the way, right? From a lead all the way to fulfillment, it's taken care of. So now it's recommending some, right? Some actions what need to do, right? Lead reacts, database engine, etc., right? Based on the business playbook. But here, right, also we can create missions, right? So let me go back here and create a new mission, right? We got templates. I'm going to choose a mission, right? I'm just going to take like, let me choose outbound sales, right? So appointment cell, right? I can connect this appointment cell, right, to here. Then I connect the sales producer to this to the agent what listens. I'm going to show you this agent actually, right? Let me do. We even have a Facebook agent, right? What buys media. So let me just start like that. Agent, right? I'm just gonna go here, right? I'm just gonna say a Facebook media buying agent. Let me buy a media buying agent. A media buying agent, right? I can connect that. Once the lead comes, let me just reorganize this, right? Ooh, I deleted it. Let me just reorganize this, right? This is how we create missions, right? From here, right? From the media buyer, right? Let's go from the media buyer. It goes, right, to the agent, the calling agent, right? Let me buy, I'm just going to use call agent, right? Right, it goes here. Then after that, right, it goes to the sales analysis agent. Right, so I'm connecting, I'm creating missions, right? I'm creating these missions, right? And from order flow, right, I can create every single step. Right, let me just move this. Is that correct? Yeah, I can create every step, right? And then I can create a trigger where everything, any trigger that I want, wait, delay, etc. So this is how we create missions, right? And you're going to see the power of this at a later stage. You're going to see the power of this at a later stage, right? So let me just go and show you, right? Say from a Facebook lead, if you're running if the agency is running Facebook leads, right? So let me go to our this is another agent, right? So we got inbound leads coming in from a Facebook call. So we've got inbound agent. A call comes in, we can set this up. Actually, when the call comes in, it's arted in 30 seconds, and our sales analysis agent, right, analyzes the calls, right, and scores the calls for commercial intent before handing it over to our appointment cell. And then our appointment cell, like finding out, right, more qualified details before it hands to our closer. But all that data of the call is recorded here, right? As it pre-populates, it's recorded here. So we can analyze the calls, right? And if you're getting, like, we're going to see, right, once it loads, sometimes you might get like 2,000 calls, 1,000 calls. We can't listen to that volume of calls, but our sales analysis agent can listen to the call volume, right? And score every single, like here. It scores every look, call scored, and now we can see the commercial 10, right? Before, when we used to run, right, and look how many, it's 2,000 calls done, right? So the leads come from Facebook, for example, or Google, coming to an agent, what calls them in 30 seconds, comes into the sales agent, analysis agent, comes in the sales dashboard, and we see everything right now as it's going. Score, call scored. Then it comes into the next flow, right? So I wanted to show you that live example. So, and all that also, like I saw me built, was built in mission control to coordinate the flow of the agents working together, right? Now we're going to come to phase 5, right? This is one of my favorite phases, right? Installing the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, right, to coordinate all the agents, right? This is like the Chief Operating Officer. Instead of one person managing an employee, right, the Chief Operating manages the digital workforce of all the agents, knows the company goals, the active missions, the KPIs, the deadlines, the priorities, the bottlenecks. Remember, it's got access to all the agents, got access to the media buying agent, access to the inbound agent, access to the weekly scorecard agent. So it knows, right, in detail. Imagine the information is passed within seconds, right? And every morning it comes up with a report like yesterday leads, right? The revenue generated, right? This is so powerful, right? Revenue generated, right? So let's go, right? So the purpose of the CEO, right, the Chief Operating Officer, is to coordinate with the is to coordinate, right, with the CEO, right, the owner of the agency, right? And the CEO is the central brain of the agency. Rather than managing every employee directly, it coordinates, right, sales, service, delivery, KPIs, and is responsible for monitoring business performance, coordinating departments, assigning work, improving systems, right? Let's jump into the dashboard to see, right, it actually in work. And now this is I'll just go to here. I'll go to chat, right? And when I'm in chat, now I can go to our Chief Operating Officer, boom, right? And every day it reports, right, to us, today's tasks and priorities. Just imagine that, right? I haven't left this dashboard once. Imagine, right? This is what we call building an AI native company from the ground up. This is how future companies are going to operate. So the Chief Operating Officer knows everything, right? And because of the business playbook and the mission control, it's all in coordination, right? And here it's coordinating, right? Here you'll see the missions, what it's generating, right? Boom, just like that, right? What's the point in? It's recommendations, what's actually happening. And every morning it can solve a report. And now we're even upgrading this, right? We're upgrading the chief operations officer to be a real time where it can go out into platforms and actually do the work, right? So our 2.0 model is just going to be like unbelievable, powerful, right? And here we got basic powers, right? We got basic powers, medium powers, and let me just go and show you these powers, right? What the chief operating officer, Medon, right? Blue chip companies, like Facebook, Apple. Facebook had Tom Cook, right? In the early days, I'm sorry, Apple had Tom Cook. Facebook had what's her name? I think Sandra, right? I forgot her name, Sandra, right? Who these are top chief operating officers. Some of these talent, right, cost like 200 to 300K in top companies. You have one at your disposal, right? Running your company efficiently and effectively, right? And there's all different levels, right? Until you get used to operating your company, we're starting on the basic level, right? So let me just go, right? Because there's other shops, we're at basic level, but it's communicating with all the agents, right? When you see this, and also, right, you have a bird's eye view here, right, of the agents which are working for the organization and the agency, be it a growth agency, AI agency, SMF agency. You see all your agents at work, right? This is an incredible moment that we live. This is what we call AI native, right? Business, right? The chief operator is coordinating everything at every step of the way, right? So, and also your agents can speak and coordinate in here. This is the agent dashboards to report back what has been done, right? And also we have alerts, right? The agents are speaking, they alert when things done. Everything is noticed, right, by the chief operating officer. So also let me show you, right? Let me show you, right, this next level of the chief operating officer. Let me just go into, let me see. I'm gonna go into, let me see if I can find it. I was looking for something. Oh, where did I put it? I was looking for a specific feature, right? Because we can manage, literally, we can manage the chief operation officer, right? And also, while I'm here, also the chief operation officer coordinates the security, right? It coordinates with the security manager agent, right? It coordinates with your business, what's actually happening, making sure your websites, right, are on par, right? The DSOS, the abuse, the database, right? All of it is managing all that stuff, right? So this is a whole next level of operation. But I was looking for something. I'm gonna come back. So this is what we call building an AI native company, right? So let's go back. This is what the chief operation officer does in its official capacity, right? And this is phase 5. Now we move to phase 6, right? Connecting the AI workforce, right? Like when the lead arrives, the qualification, the CRM, the research agent, we connect them, right? So how are we connecting, right? Connecting the AI workforce. I'm going to show you 2 methods how we do that, right? Let me go back into this platform. This is where the AI start to agents and employees start to collaborate with each other. If I go here, if I go here, if I go to the AI employees, right? We've switched them on, right? We injected them into the playbook, right? So now they're injected into the playbook. All these agents, they can collaborate, right? They know the business brain. So they're not working in isolation. They're taking commands from the chief operating officer, right? And the business playbook, right? This is how we're connecting them, right? And also, right, we connect channels, which we're going to come back to, right? But now these agents, this is how they connect. And also they can communicate with each other. So let's go to the chat here, right? These agents can start communicating with each other in this chat as well. So we've got different levels of chat, right? So that's how the collaboration happens, right? Now let's go to giving AI human capabilities, right? Right? This is what we said, building the AI native. This is how we give the AI employees for the agency, right? Human capabilities, right? From browser sessions to CRM to Stripe access to Google Ads access to Face access. Basically, we connect them, right? Let's go back into the platform, right? Let me go back here. So now we go to channels. Let's go to channels. Right? This is the first method. We connect our Instagram, our Facebook, Google, every platform that we are working with, we connect them here, right? Our Go High Level, etc. We connect it so that the agent can need to have access. If you've got a media buying manager, the agent can have access here. Also, we have an MCP server. We connect it here, right? The second method of connection, right? So now the agents can communicate and work in the real world and have human capabilities, right? The third level of connection is that they are given a browser setup, right? A browser setup. They're given a distinct browser where they can go work in a browser. And this comes in handy, right? Because we launch a browser, and once we launch the browser, right, we set up web-based cloud, we connect the API. Every agent has his own workspace, right, to go in there. So if you're in Facebook, after a while you log in, the cookies are stored, so you don't need to keep on getting authorization. This is very powerful also if you're working with clients, right? It's same thing with Go High Level, any other platform. The agents now can go in and work within browser control, right? And go out and work in real world, just like what the human would be. So they have enhanced human capabilities, right? Also, let me just go to this agent, right? The weekly scorecard agent, so you can see it here, right? This is another level of connection. I'll go to the weekly scorecard agent. I'm just gonna let me go to a previously run score. Now I'm gonna go like that, right? Let me go through this method. We also connect the weekly score agent, right? Weekly scorecard agent. So I'm just gonna open this up. If we populate, right? Let me go down. So when we go to here, connectors, we're connecting Facebook again, Go High Level, Stripe, all the key essential data in order to get that scorecard, right, on a weekly basis, right? This is how we connect, right? The agents, right, to have human-like capabilities, right? This is a whole next level, right? As I said, not once have I left this platform to go to ChatGPT, right? Or Code, or Claude, or Cowork, right? Or yep. So let's go to stage 8, right? Phase 8, right? And AI should never operate without review. So we review, have a QA process for all agents, right? Always we're QA the agents instead of trusting one AI, right? And this is what the chief operating officer also does, right? We QA the agent. So let's go back into the platform and we show how we QA the agency, every single agent. So if I go into our QA audit, actually, I can go to, there's 2 ways I can go. Let me go to run. Here, actually, let me switch this. Here, I'm going to go to create audit, right? This is where we can create audit any agent, right? Before they even go live, but consistently. We just choose the agent here. Let me choose one agent. I'm going to choose the chief operating officer. I even coordinate the boss, right? I even like monitor to see it go. So now what audits does, right? Read the full agent coding, prompting, guardrails, knowledge bank, right? Auto generates 5 realistic prompt tests, right? This is where we QA the agent, right? So let me just press, right, to test the agent. Now we're going through an agent test, testing the coding, 5 different facets of the agent, right? And this is one form of testing for the agent, right? We're not just letting the agents loose, no, right? We got to test the agent to see the agent. Are you worthy, right? are you worthy of working for that agency, right? So while it's doing that, it will take some time, but then let's go back, right? So this is one of the processes how we do that. Let me open up another dashboard. This is another dashboard how we curate the agent, right? We've got different methods how we curate. We can run an audit. This is across all board, right? And we see what's actually happening, right? We got different. This is the internal agent qualification process that is running, right? This runs at least diagnose like 2 or 3 times a week, right? Which the chief operating officer does, right? So let me just go back now, right? And see it's still running, right? So this is what the QA process consists of. We're not just leaving agents running blind, right? So they're always reporting to the chief operating officer, right? Then, right, we measure everything, like I said, right? I showed you this, right? Because we measure everything with a weekly scorecard, right? Everything is measured, right? Marketing, operations, finance, retention, right? Those of you who I think I have it up. So while that's still running, I'm just gonna show you one more time, right? We measure everything is getting measured, right? Also, here we have a performance dashboard as well, right? So we're measuring the agents in almost, let me go back in this workspace, in like 3 or 4 capacities, right? So we have a dashboard here, right? We have a performance dashboard. We can see what's happening. This is just a quick, right, measurement, right? Here, leads, measurement, right? Missions, outreach, if you're doing it right. This is one form of measurement. Right? Now let's go into the weekly scoreboard again, right? That's a second form of measurement, right? This happens like within like a short period of time, right? If in an organization, if you have an agency, you'd have to have numerous different meetings to get this data, right? Log into your dashboard, etc. Right? So let me just go, hey, right? And also we can see the previous. So you can go back and see the previous audits, right? And this is how you're measuring on a week by week basis. You go back, look after 4 weeks and see the progress. So when we say, right, you have an increased productivity and efficiency, this is how we're saying, this is why we're saying that, right? Remember, we haven't left this platform once while running our business, right? I'm just going to generate the numbers. Actually, I think I did that, right? So this is like literally, right? As I said, it generates the weekly score. It's plugged in, like I said, to all your systems, your merchant, your CRM, right? It's plugged into every facet what you need. You're operating any software that you operate in your business, right? And that's how it pulls the data, like I just showed you, right? And it keeps a scorecard of the data, right? Right, that's doing right. This is still working. So this just shows you this is in-depth analysis of that one specific agent, right? And sometimes we can let this run in the background, right? And go and see the reports. The chief operating officer also has access to go and do that in the background. And like I showed you in the security system and the performance, you can see that data, right? So imagine this efficiency, right? This is what we call an AI native company, right? AI built from the ground up. And this is what we help to deploy, right, in agencies. It looks like we're having some progress here. It's continuing, right? So let me go back. Boom, right? Like I said, right? Monitored bottlenecks. We can see it. What bottlenecks are suffering, calculated metrics, summary, right? Every department, marketing, right? Bottlenecks, overall bottlenecks, right? Full report, action plans, what need to be done, boom, right? Full report. Even the chief operation officer can read that, and this is how it's getting you his weekly report, right? And his daily report, right? It reports to you first thing in the morning, right? What's being done, right? This is incredible information that you got at your fingertips. And this is what we help deploy in agencies within a 90-day period, even before that, right? Just imagine operating on that level, right? I say 2020 is the year of AI and artificial. 2030 is going to be year of digital revolution, where at least in 80 to 95% of companies are going to be operating this. So those of you who are on this stream now, it's like you found Bitcoin, right? When it was £1 or $1. You see what I'm saying? These are early stages, right? This is how companies are going to look like, right? So let's go back. So we come to stage 10, right? Is the phase for continuous improvement, right? We're improving SOPs, we're improving agents, we're improving missions, we're improving the KPIs. And how are we doing that? Because we've got access to the weekly data, right? The Chief Operating Officer is reporting back to you all the time, right? Every single day, right? You can ask it any question, pull any stats, but it's got it here on the dashboard, right? Which is remarkable. Like I said, yeah, now look, right? This is the test that it's done, right? And I can see this is a healthy agent, right? Because we've got a lot of ticks. Sometimes the new agents, we don't get that, right? So we've got to go back and we've got to optimize the agent again, right? And if there was issue, yeah, here, like purpose summary, pass, right? Pass, partial pass, right? Pass screen. Sometimes the new agents, we got red. So when we get that, we just go back here and do an auto fix. Boom, right? You know what I'm saying? We're preparing the agent, code is running, right? You know what I'm saying? So literally, right? It goes back and scores the agent and looks for fundamental things again. Look how depth this analysis is. Recommend fixes, right? Sometimes code can break, right? Code can break, right? You see what I'm saying? But we're always testing it, right? So like I said, this is the future. So let me go back. This is our platform. This is how we optimize and test the platform, right? So let me just go back now, right? And see the difference. The incredible difference of running an AI native company to a traditional business company, right? This is what we help agencies, businesses, founders implement, right? Turn their company into an AI native company, right? And now you're operational, but just go back and see, right? Just to refresh. So remember, right? Before you have literally the only, I can say, hands-on human capacities that we still have, right, is a hybrid closer and a setter, right? Because even though you have a closer, right, you're on top of the numbers, but they've pushed all that information at their fingertips, right? Through the sales analysis agent, they have so much rich data which they can to close the call, right? And the setter also has so much data, right? The appointment setter, right? So all the other facets of the company, right, are 100% AI driven, right? I want you to think about that for a minute, right? At the moment, companies existing in this old traditional menu might have 3 or 4 tabs up of ChatGPT, NAN, Make, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, right? Operating their business, right? At not one point in time during this stream, did you see me, right? Bring up ChatGPT, but tasks were done, right? They were getting executed. The AI employees were executing the tasks with efficiency and reporting back to the chief operation officer, right? So this is the future. And this is what we call a 100% AI native company, right? And I wrote down some questions, right? Let me just go and see them. I wrote down some questions. Some people asking, right? But I believe they were answered. What is a AI native company? You've just been demonstrated what AI native company is, right? We demonstrated you today, right? What's the difference between ChatGPT and building an AI network? We never go to ChatGPT once, right? They're accessories in this new age. They're accessories, right? Therefore, the average general person, if you want to be a super flyer and lead them pack and lead your industry, your company is going to be AI native, right? What is the business playbook which describe? The business playbook is the brain, right? Where we put your SOPs, everything about that business, so it can be fed to your chief operating officer and all your agents, right? What departments can AI employees run? They can run, like I said, sales, marketing, customer support, operations, admin, finance, research, you name it, right? So what will AI replace agency owners? No, right? The agency owner can be living the soft life, right? All these tasks are done. You're just getting reported every morning. You're coming in, right? Liaising with the chief operation officer, seeing what's happening in your business, measuring the lead quality, the leads what are coming in, liaising with your appointment setter, liaising with your closer, right? But now you got the weight of your company lifted at your back, and literally you can run your company in almost like an hour a day, right? So this is what we call building an AI native company. Those of you who might have an agency, who might have any type of business, right? This is what we can help you build. If you're interested, just click the link in the description or reach out to me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next stream.